right, so we're now recording. So once again, my plan is not to give you an assignment during spring break, which is not next week, but the following week after that. So you can plan on that as long as we're moving along. And if in fact you got your stuff caught up. Also during that time, I get a thing from this from ICC that I have to sign that says that you're actively participating in the class. So if you haven't been actively participating, in other words, if I look and you haven't turned any homework in, that's actively participating. Uh, just logging into Zoom is not actively participating. So if you have a bunch of zeros in the grader, especially for the last several weeks, then you need to catch those up, or they'll drop you from the class for not actively participating. Okay, I hope that's not anybody in here. Questions? Any questions before we get started?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Meredith's the only one that doesn't have anything. Everybody else must have something, but they're holding it back, Meredith.
I
I'm
do
also
have
I'm also
anything.
good.
Thank you.
Now everybody wants to rhyme it. Oh God, Anthony, you got your mic open, by the way. So, okay, let's see what I can get here. I can mute him. There, I turned him off. So yeah. So this week, let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen with everybody because I can. And we're going to take a look here. If you haven't looked at the has next thing right here, again, you unzip it and then you save it, unzip it, and then you should be able to run it in NetBeans. And I gave you a bunch of different examples of how you can build in the has next for different data types. Reread the chapter, okay? And then these are the programs for this week. Compound value. How I want this one to work is you'll ask the user how much they want to save every month, okay? Then what the annual interest rate is, okay? Now, annual interest rate, if you ask them that, you need to be specific. Do you want it in a percentage or do you want it in decimal form? Okay. Do you want it in a percent or do you, because it makes a really big difference. If you're going to give them 10%, let's say, I wish I could get an investment at 10%, but let's just say it's 10% and you type in 10, or if they type in 10 and you do not divide that by 100 and then divide it by 12, they're going to make a lot of interest, okay? Because 10 would be, what would that be? 1,000% a month, okay? Now, you might get that at a loan shark or something, or if you were a loan shark, but I doubt it. If you ask them for, let me do this for you. Okay. So if they type in if they type in 100, okay, or 10%, all right, what you have to do to that is the first thing you have to do is you need to divide that by 100. Okay. So that gives you 10% in decimal form. And then you have to take that and divide it by 12 to give you the monthly interest rate. And that's what it is for a monthly interest rate. But you're not going to ask them what the monthly interest rate, because nobody would know that. And then if you skip this step here and say, enter your interest rate, your annual interest rate in decimal form, all they would do is type in 0.1. And then all you would have to do, of course, is what we did here. and you get 0.00833 repeating. You guys understand that? If you don't, you're going to have a problem. So what I did here for you is I told you what the correct answer is for if they're putting in $100 a month at 10% interest for 12 months, the final number should be this right here. Okay, that's how much they should make. All right. And I kind of gave you the formula here too. So that one shouldn't be that bad. You're just checking. Again, remember, you have to check that they put in a floating point for this one and a floating point for this one. So you have two has next there that you have to make sure they're putting in what they're supposed to be putting in. The next one is the ISBN. So if you have your textbook or any book and you flip it over, the ISBN 13 is on the back. Okay. And on the ISBN 13, there's 13 digits. Well, the first 12 of those create the 13th digit. And that's called a checksum. Okay. So we manipulate the first 12 digits to find out what the 13th digit is. And sometimes there's a dash in front of it on your book before the last digit, and that last digit's the checksum. And so there's a specific how to get that number, okay? And it depends on the book, I think, has you start at the end at the 12th digit, okay, and work down to 0 or down to, it's actually the 11th because you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. like that when you're picking them off, okay? So if it's an even digit, in other words, the 0 digit, the 2 digit, the 4, 6, 8, 10, then you're going to multiply that by 3 and add them together. If they're the odd digits, all you do is add those together. But if it's the even digit, you multiply by 3 and then add them. Then you take all those, add them together. Then you divide by 10 and get the remainder. And then you subtract that number from 10, and that gives you whatever your checksum, the 13th digit is. If the answer is 10, then the checksum is 0. And that's how it works. Okay. So here's what I'm going to tell you. First of all, run it. If it works, if it comes out to what your book checksum is, you're probably okay. If it doesn't, and you think you've done it correctly, chances are your evens are your odds and your odds are your evens. Okay. That sounds weird, right? Chances are your odds are your evens. So just switch which ones you're calling which. Okay. Switch your count. Okay. Because it makes a difference. If you start with the 12th digit and count down, the 12th digit's going to be an odd, and the 11th digit would be an even because that would be a 1, 2, and so on. It just depends on what you determine to be what. Okay, so that's that one. The program we're going to program tonight is called craps. Be honest, how many of you know what craps is or don't know? I'm sure there's people here that don't know what craps is.
I know of it, but I've never played it before.
Okay. All right.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay. Craps is a gambling game. So you can tell your parents or that Doug taught you how to gamble tonight. Okay. I had one semester, I had a 14-year-old in my class. And by the end of summer, he knew how to play poker and craps. His parents were really happy with me. They loved me. Not really. Okay. So craps is a dice game that they play in casinos. and other places. Craps works like this. You roll 2 die, okay? And if on your first roll, you roll a 7 or 11, you win, okay? If on your first roll, you roll, well, let's write it down. Let's go over here. Okay, so here we go. So first roll, if I roll a 7 or an 11, I win, game over. And then you have to ask them, do they want to play again? First roll, if I roll a 2, a 3, or a 12, I lose and game is over. On the first roll, if I roll a 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10, that's called my point. And the game continues. Okay. Well, how long does it continue for? So if I have a point, okay, and it keeps continuing, okay, subsequent rolls, okay. So on my next roll, okay, if I roll a 7, I lose. Game over. If I re-roll my point, I win. Game over. Roll. Any other, game continues. Okay. So let's try it. So I roll a 7. What happens? First roll.
You win and the game is over.
Yep, I win. What if I roll a 12?
You lose.
I lose, right? Okay, how about a 3?
Lose.
Lose. And 11?
Win.
Win.
Win, right? Okay, how about if I roll a 9?
Point, game continues.
Yep. So now I have a point. Okay. So now I roll a 6. What happens?
You roll again.
Yep. So nothing happens. Roll again. What if I roll a 12?
Roll again.
Yep. Nothing happens. Roll again. If I roll a 3,
Roll again.
yep. What if I roll a 9?
Win.
You win.
Yep, win and the game is over. Okay. If, however, let's say that I rolled a 7, what happens?
You'd lose.
Yep, I lose. Game over. Okay, so that's how we play. So that's what we're going to program here. So let's go ahead and get started. Going to go ahead and open NetBeans here. All right, so we got a new program or new project, whatever you want to call it. Of course, we got Ant. And let's just call this, let's just call it dice game instead of, that'll work. All right. So we're going to do our internal. So the project name is, we're going to just call it Acme Dice Game. And this on this one will be dicegame.java. Today's date already, we're at March 2, 2021. And the author is yourself. Oops. And the purpose is to simulate the dice game called Craps. And then we'll put in, so first roll, 7-11, user wins. Oops, not that kind of wins. Wins. First roll 2, 3, or 12. User loses. And then they got first roll 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Oops, 9 or 10 becomes the point. Game continues. Let's go ahead here. User wins, game ends, comma, game ends. Boy, I can't hit the keys tonight. Game ends. Or in this one will say game ends. Okay, so under this one, we'll go keep rolling until, let's say, keep rolling. Roll the point again. User wins. Roll a 7 and the user loses. So we'll say keep rolling until one of two things happen. I think that explains it pretty good. All right, and then we'll clean this mess up down here. Again, I just think it's important that we get everything indented nicely. It's easier to read, easier to debug if we have nice indentation. I'm going to indent that a little more. 1, 2. Looks good. And I'm going to put a divider in, and this divider, you'll see when we get along the way here a little bit more, when we have some more methods, it's nice to have these in so you can tell where one starts and one ends. Okay, let's save that. And I know up here, let's see, so user input I'm going to need, because I need to say play again or whatever. So I'm going to need to import a Java utility called scanner. See if I can get it where it won't lock up. I hate when it does this. There we go, got it. Import java.utility, and we're going to create dice. So we need a random. So got that. Okay. Come down here, and I'm going to create my loop. It's got 4 parts, right? And so I'm going to create a char called again. And I'm going to put the value of a single quote. So, because that's a char, not a double quote. Okay. And I do that. Excuse me. So once again, there's my initialization, the first part of my loop. So that's initialize it. And again, you wouldn't put this if you're doing this in real life, because everybody or that programs knows what that means. And then we're going to create our do loop here. And so we got that. And so I got this loop out here. Okay, that works. So in here, we're going to have some type of process. Okay. We're not there yet, but we'll just type in process there. And then we're going to have our incrementation, where we say system.out.print line, or print, enter, no, this one, to continue, press Y, all others quit program. Okay. And then we need our increment, so it'll be, again, it will be equal to, well, I need to instantiate a scanner here, right? So I'll say scanner con in is equal to a new scanner of the system in type. So I'm there. So this will be con in dot next parentheses dot to upper case char at 0. Because all I'm going to do is pick off the first letter no matter what they type in. So if they type yes, I get a Y. If they type yak, I get a Y. If they type in yellow, I get a Y. If they type in a small letter Y, I get my uppercase Y. Okay. So there's my increment. Again, these are the 4 parts. And then I need my test down here. So my test is while, again, is equal to the character y. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and test that to make sure it runs as many times as the user wishes to do so. So I can type in yak and it runs. I can type in yes and it runs. I can type in yellow, it runs. I can type in anything that starts with a W or a Y. Okay, if I type in an N or anything else, it stops. The only thing I saw I didn't like is there was no space after the colon here in front of my prompt. Again, if you look at it right here, I didn't like that this letter here was right up against that. I wanted it to look better than that. All right. I guess we better instantiate a random. So we're going to say random. My rand or something like that is equal to a new random. And then we'll come down here and we'll roll our dice. So I'm going to have one that says die 1. Whoops. Sorry about that. Int die 1 will be equal to my rand dot next int. Next, geez, int. And let's see, there's 6 faces on a die, but I don't want a 0 face. So I'm going to say point plus 1. And once I have that one, I can do int die 2 equal to the same thing. My rand dot next int with a 6 and a plus 1. All right, and so then we will do, and I don't want to do an int 12 because I want to show the user like a dice game, okay? But I can do int roll total will be equal to die 1 plus die 2. So now I want to test that. I'm going to say system out dot print f will be %d and %d equals %d and then the comma die 1 die 2 die or roll total. And we'll test that. 6 and 3 is equal to 9. That's good. Okay, and then we'll put a /n here. We need to cancel that. It's still running. Okay, so there we go. There we go. 2 and 2 is 4. Roll it again. 5 and 6 is 11. 6 and 6 is 12. So that's good. I know I'm getting that. What I'd really like to see is a 1 and a 1. But I might have to be here a while to do that. But I'm seeing 1s. As long as I see that both die, you see here, it rolled a 1 here, and then it rolled a 1 down here. So I'm going to assume that at some point it would roll a 2. Well, I'm saying that, again, think about the odds here. What is the most rolled number? What number will be rolled the most?
7.
Mhm. Yeah, 7, there's more combinations to roll a 7, okay? So coming out, when you first roll, the first roll, you're most likely gonna roll a 7 if you're gonna roll any number at all, okay? What's the least likely rolls? There's 2 of them.
12 and 1. I mean 2.
Yeah, 12 and 2, because there's only one combination for each one of those. Okay, so that's the most uncommon. So, but believe me, the casinos have this all figured out. They're not losing money. Okay. Okay. So once I do this, what do I want to do? Okay. Let's do this. Let's change this so it's more pleasant. How about you rolled a and a for a total of that. Okay. So I think that reads pretty good. Then let's just take a look real quick. Gotta press the button, Doug. Press the button. Get it on. Oh, no. There we go. Okay, you rolled a 1 and a 3 for a total of 4. I like that. It looks okay. Let's try it one more time. I rolled a 5 and a 6 for a total of 11. Okay, so that looks pretty good now. So now we need to do our determinations. So we're going to do if roll total is equal to 7 or roll total is equal to 11, then we'll do okay. So I got that. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Then if we do else if, total or roll total is equal to 2 or roll total is equal to a 3. Oops, roll total equal to a 3 or roll total is equal to a 12. Will be system dot out dot print line. You lose. Better quit while you are ahead. Okay. Then we have our else here for everything else. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to do is say that where's it going to go though? Well, we'll try it here. That int point is equal to our roll total. Okay. And then let's go here and we'll do die 1 is equal to my rand next int. Well, what we could do is just go up and why don't we just copy them, Doug? Just take these two, Control C to copy it, and then paste them in here. Get rid of the ints because they're already defined inside the loop. So if they were outside the loop, we wouldn't be able to do that, but we can because they're inside the loop. Okay. And of course, we'll need a new roll total. Will be assigned die 1 plus die 2. So now we've changed the value of all three of these, okay? But we saved the old one right here, okay? So now if point is equal to roll total, I guess we should print it out. Let's see here. Let's go back up here. Let's get this line here. Control C and blah, 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 blah. Control V. And let's do this. Let's do point is equal to percent %D and then colon space like that. And then we'll need another one here that just says point. I think that's okay. So you get down here and it shows your point, and then you just keep rolling. Okay, so let's see here. I need a loop in here, don't I? Need another loop right here. We'll just do this do. And all of this right here needs to move up inside of there. Tab, tab, tab. Okay, so if I do that and roll to one point equals roll total, that should, I can move that outside there so it doesn't change. Okay. I think that'll be okay. Again, you need, you have to work this logic out in your head. So once I establish my point, then I start rolling again. Okay, so a new roll total becomes that, the point remains, whatever. And then you roll a blah, 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 blah for a total of that. So there you go. So if roll total, if they're the same, that means that you won. So system.out print line, you won. You rolled your point. Okay. Else, if let's do else if roll total is equal to 7, we need a system.out print line that says you lose. I think that's okay. And then, so that's that. So now I need a, where does it change? Okay, so our incrementation is that roll total. So it's going to be while roll total is not equal to point and roll total is not equal to 7. Okay, so we're going to print that, print that, print that. Where does this one show up at? Under this else. This one is the one for what? That don't make sense at all, does it? Let's do, where's the one for my do loop? Okay, so that's good. And then this one is for what do loop? That one. Hang on, it's crazy here. Something's nuts. Wow, okay. So I don't think I need either one of those. All right, let's see what kind of damage we got going here. So if I run it, says you rolled a 2 and a 5 for a total of 7, you win. Type a Y here. It says to continue, press Y. Okay, you rolled a 6 and a 3. My point was 9. You rolled a 4 and a 5 for 9. I win again. Maybe I should go to the casino today. There's a good one. Here I rolled a 9 the first time, then I rolled an 8, a 4, a 10, an 11, 11, a 10, a 2, and a 9. And so I win again. I rolled a 9 before I rolled a 7. This one here, my total was 6. And I rolled another 6. So I win again. Holy crap. Okay, here's one I lost. So I had a 10 was my point. I rolled an 8, a 6, a 6, an 8, a 4. Ooh, I roll a 7 there. So I lose. Last night I had one that ran 19 times before I won or lost here. Here's one I rolled a 5 and rolled a 5 again. There's one I rolled a 3, I crapped out. Okay, so I need some space in here though. It's kind of looking crowded. So right here, I know I need a /n there to begin with. And I need to stop my, if your program's running, when you have these loops, sometimes you forget to hit N to close it. You can either close it here by clicking there, or you can go to your output page and type in the end or N, or you just hit this red button here and the program ends. Okay, so I added a line, a space here, because I didn't like the way it looked, and a line feed there. And where did I put? I thought I had a banner here. Maybe not. What happened to my banner? Didn't I put a banner in somewhere? Maybe not. Maybe that was the last class.
Yeah, I don't think you did.
Okay. So right here, well, let's see what it looks like before I get started here. All right. So here we got, I rolled a 6, then a 2, a 3, a 10. Oops, rolled a 7, I lose. And I'm still not getting what I want here. I want another. So I'm going to go back here and put a /n in front of this one and then run it again. Okay, I rolled a 6 and a 6 for 12. That's better. I like how it has a break there. Rolled a 6 and a 2 for 8. I rolled a 4 and a 3 for 7. I lose again. So it looks much better with that space in there. So I rolled a Y here. You know what? Yeah, that's all right. Actually, I want that Y out there. But here again, I lost. So I'm going to stop the program. So I don't want it here. I want it before it. There we go. There we go. I type the Y in. Okay. All right. That looks okay. And it stops. Okay. Anybody have one that doesn't run that needs help?
Mine's running good.
Cool. All right. Well, we know Meredith is running good. Everybody else, we're not quite sure of. All right. So we rolled that. Let's go ahead and put in outside of here. I don't want the banner to print every time I hit the yes key, but let's go ahead and put a banner in. So I'll put it up here. Just something that makes it more user friendly. Space, yep. Oops, don't want to do that. And we'll see how close I am to centering this. And then I'll just copy the top one. Control C, Control V, and let's see what our banner looks like. Okay, it's off a little bit. I need to take out like 1 or 2. I need to either extend those by 2. I can do that. Okay, let's do that. Let's see what this does. So if I put 2 more on each one of these, let's see if it looks good. Excuse me. Not too bad. It's a little bit off. I probably could have take one out of here and add one to the other side. Man, sorry about that. That looks better, looks centered and okay. All right. So then let's go down and I got a couple things yet. I want to clean this up. Okay, so I'll still be in here. And once I quit, I want to say thank you. So if I and then it's a little something for the programmer. All right, so that looks pretty decent. Okay, one thing I'm going to add, and I'll go up here and type it. Is we're going to say keep track of the users wins and loss. Or yeah, that'd be okay. No. We'll just say keep track of their winnings. So outside of the loop, we're going to give our buddy, we're going to call something. We'll have an int that's called coins and set it to 0. Okay. So if they win, they get an extra coin. So here in the first one, if they roll a 7 or 11, we're going to just say coins plus, plus plus. So that means they get 1 extra coin. Down here, if they lose, we're going to take coins away. So we're going to just say coins minus minus. So that takes 1 coin away. And then let's see, 1 here. So this is another coins plus plus. And down here, they lose again. So we'll make this one coins minus minus. Now I want to remind you guys and ladies that I helped you do this, okay? And yes, I've done it before, but you notice again, I broke it down into parts and I made sure one part worked. Then we added another part, made sure that part worked, etc., etc. I expect that since I'm helping you do this one and it counts for a grade, that you'll go back over it and think about what we did. Or even, what should even be better, is to put this one aside and then write it, see if you can write it again by yourself. Because that's the only way you're going to learn it. It's not a typing class where I type something and then you just type it and you think you're good, because that's not good. Okay. You need to be able to figure these out yourself and then to program it. And if you have to do it on paper first, you do it on paper. You write it out. What if this happens? What if this happens? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So now, do we want to, we have two options. Do we want to keep a running total of his money? Or do we just want to show it to him when he checks out? Okay. So we can do either one. If I put it in here, then he's going to have a running total of his money. Okay. And then, and you could even make this better. You could give him, let's say we could give him 10 coins. Okay. And then what we could do down here is, why is again, you can do it. And coins are greater than 0. Okay. So da 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 da. And then again, if coins are less than, or we can make it equal to 0 or less than 1 is more, probably more. So equal to 0. And all right, so let's see if that works. Okay, so loser, but oh, I never, hang on, I never say how much money we have. So now I want to keep track to how much money I've got. So right here, we'll say, let's print it out. Make it an F formatted. Okay. Oh, I need a /n in there. Okay, now run it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I won. See that? So now I have 11 coins. I got 12 coins. I won again. I got 13 coins. I won again. Jeez. I was wanted to quit. Uh-oh, I lost one, so I'm down to 12. Believe me, after a while, now I'm back up to 13, 14. Maybe I should cut down. Let's try. I'm going to give them 3 coins or something to start out. 3. Okay. All right. So I got 2 coins now. Now I won't be able to win. Watch. Oh, I'm back to 3. Up to 4. Up, down to 3. Down to 2. Down to 1. Okay, so now what happens here? I hit Y. Sorry, you ran out of money, and Acme is not a bank. So that works. And it kicks you out of the program. All right. So that adds a little bit to it. And you know what? Since this is our second week in loops, that's about what I had. Let's just do real quick here. Does anybody need me to scroll anywhere? So you can, that last part, the adding the coin part. So I added the pluses and minuses for wins and losses. I initialized it to 3 to see that it worked. And then down here, you have a test here that if he runs out of money, it's going to kick him out and print this. Okay. And then I added this one line here to tell him how much he has as he's playing. Okay, if nobody says anything, I'm going to go ahead, and that's already saved. I'm going to close this one. And I just want to make sure over here, I'm going to just create a new project, that we have an understanding here. I'm just going to call it for next. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that up there. All right. So we have these loops called for next. Okay. And they're counting loops. So normally we know what they're going to count to before it goes into the loop. Okay. So it could be something as simple as, let's do this, final int months. And it's equal to 12. All right. And so now I could do a for next loop that says int count. Again, don't get caught up in the book where they put in like the letter I. Our variable names have to mean something. So we're going to just say, we're going to do it from 1. Then count is less than or equal to months. And then count plus, plus. Okay. And then we can do something here. We'll just say system out dot print line. Let's do this. We'll print count. And then plus space hello. And if I run that, There you go, 12 times. So again, this is the basic format here. And, here's your process here. Okay, here's your initialization here. Here's your test here. And here's your increment here. So there's all 4 parts of your loop. They're just built in. Okay, just built in. And again, you can do all kinds of, we could do this. Watch this. We'll just do something crazy here. System dot out dot print. Enter a what could it be? How about integer is an easy one. So if I do that, print an integer, Okay, so now I got a while, and then a not, and then I need a scanner up here. So I import, crazy. Okay, so there, and then I instantiate my scanner. All right, and then so while user in dot has next int, 2 parentheses, I do system dot out dot print line that is not an integer entry. System out dot print re-enter an integer like that. And this up here should have been an. Okay. Then I clear the buffer out with a user in next. Okay, so that keeps them in the loop. And then if they get through that loop, then we put it in here as number. Okay, is equal to our user in dot next int. And then we can print it. Oops. Okay. So if I go there and I type in the letter A, it says that's not an integer entry. Re-enter an integer. I can put a 1.2 in there. So that's not an integer. re-enter an integer. I can put an exclamation point in there. That's not an integer. If I type the number 3 in, it says you entered the number 3. Enter an integer. Oh, wait a minute. What do I got? 4-digit. Why do I got enter an integer? Oh, it's going to do it 12 times. That's why. So I type a 2, type a 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Should quit. There we go. So that loop inside the loop here, this runs 12 times outside, and then it gets 12 numbers. So interesting. Just showing you, we got this counting loop, for loop. Inside of it, I'm checking to see whether or not they're typing in an integer. If they don't, it just keeps looping, 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 looping. If they do, it skips over this, right? Because while loops may never run at all. As soon as he types in an integer, it doesn't do any of this, okay? It just comes down here, assigns the number, and prints it out. Okay, so another little lesson. Again, I gave you a whole programs of different for nexts because there's a for or has next. So you can have an has next Boolean, for example. I'll get rid of some of this here. Get rid of that. And enter true or false. Okay. And then we change this to Boolean. And then we say that is not true. Oops. True or false. Re-enter. True or false. And then this one down here, we'll just say is Boolean answer. And then this will say next Boolean. And you entered delete answer. And then I can get rid of one of these, I think. Let's see, this one is out there. We'll get rid of that. And we can run it. And I type the letter A. It says that's not true or false. I type the number 1. That's not true or false. I type in true. Boom, you entered true. So again, we're controlling, we're making it user friendly by controlling what the, we can check that the user's doing what he's supposed to do. Okay. All right. That's about my song and dance for tonight. Unless you have some questions, I'm going to go ahead and what do I got going here? Oops. Stop sharing and stop recording.